Hi, this is Erin from Blossy Bee. Welcome to my channel. The plan for this video is to decorate some coasters made from eco casting compound in my previous video. This video is number 2 in a 2-part series. So if you haven't yet watched the first part, I'd strongly recommend you do so before watching this one. I'm going to try quite a few experiments, including using iron-on transfers, UV DTF decals, and rub-on transfers as I finish these coasters off. So they've all had 2 layers of the matte sealer, and it's been allowed to dry in between. Now, I'm going to just start moving some out of the way because I'm going to now be using my little cricket iron, and I'm going to turn it on just a little bit, and I'm going to turn it on to the medium heat. Okay, so I'll just sit that there for a second while it gets to the correct temperature. Now, my plan is to test out whether we can use iron-on decals or transfers onto sealed eco casting powder, in this case the AR400. So I've got a little timber trivet here that I use being heat proof. That little bip was just the little iron telling me it was warm enough. Now I've got 2 different types of heat transfer decals here today. I've got some that I ordered. I designed them myself and I ordered them from a company in Australia, and so that's going to be one test, and then I've got some others I ordered from Temu, so that'll be another test. Now these ones are from the DTF Print Hub, and the instructions that they give you are that you would normally preheat your garment. So these would normally go onto clothes to remove excess moisture. So you want a really dry surface. You place your artwork directly onto the garment uncovered, or you can actually put a sheet over it if you have a really hot iron or press. Press for 15 seconds, hot or cold peel. Best to wait about 15 seconds and peel hot. So then you can do an additional press as well. I have no idea if this is going to work or not. It could be a disaster. I don't know. Okay, I think I'm going to put a sheet of baking paper over, only because I've got an area here and here which is not covered by the transfer. So I'm just using Glad Bake, which is a like a baking paper. Apologies for the noise. And I'm just going to pop that there. Okay, now I'm using medium heat, as I mentioned, because I don't want to go in too hot. And we'll give it a go. So I'm going to be just moving it over it for about 15 seconds. Okay, so that 15 seconds is up, but I just don't feel that I've given it a good press, so do that. Now, I don't want to move it in case it's only partly worked, and it hasn't worked at all. I can't see any transfer at all. So I'm going to just hold the iron on for about another 15 seconds. And do this bottom piece here. I can't smell anything, you know, that would indicate the sealer reacting badly with the heat or anything, or the AR400 Eco casting powder either. But I have cracked my coaster. I'm pretty sure that's a crack. Let's have a look. Yes, there's a crack in the coaster. Interesting. Okay, I'll just wait a few seconds. So, you know, whether I put it down too hard or whether I press too hard, that's not good, is it? Okay, so I've waited about 15 seconds and I'm just going to give a quick press. It is very hot. The coaster is very hot as well. So it hasn't come off there at all. And it's only partially off there. Alright, well, I haven't got anything to lose now, have I, since I've cracked the coaster? I've got a chance to push it a bit further and see if I can get it to work. So on the back of these, I'll just find one to show you while I'm doing that. Oh, on the other side. On the back of these, there is an adhesive, and that melts when the correct temperature is applied. All right. Okay, I'm just going to wait the 15 seconds and I'm just looking to see if there's a way of telling whether it's transferred or not. I don't think I'm able to work that out. All right, let's have another little look. There's a little bit pulling up there and there's a little bit down there. Okay. So I'm really not getting the feeling that this is a consistent sort of predictable process as it has been in the past for me when I'm transferring to fabric. It's been virtually bomb-proof when I've done it before with fabric. I did some work shirts for a friend. They were amazing. I did some, you know, rugby top, polo tops and hoodies. They were perfect. This is a different beast altogether. Okay, so I don't think that little piece there is salvageable. Okay. So let's have a look. It just looks amazing, apart from the fact that I've cracked it. It looks really good. Oh dear. Okay, well, part one of the experiment is good. Now, part two is going to be looking at these transfers that I got from Timo. So I've got a dragon here. And I'm just going to choose randomly another coaster. No cracks in the coaster at the moment until I get my hands on it. And placing the dragon down. Now, as an experiment this time, what am I going to do? Because every experiment should have variables. So if that didn't work, it did eventually, then why not? So let's have a look and just see again what it says about heat. Temperature 130 to 150. Start at a lower temperature and adjust as necessary. I was going to say I'll turn it up flat out, but now I've read that, I don't think I will. Okay. All right. So, hoping I'm not cracking. It's terrible. Not quite sure how that happened, but I'm just trying to apply quite even heat and pressure all over because I don't want to press, you know, heavily, in case that's how I cracked the previous one. And I'm just looking at my timer. I'm giving it a really good 30 seconds. It's either 30 seconds or it isn't. It's just silly. Okay, and based on the previous one, that's not going to have done the job, but this is a different type of transfer. I guess the manufacturing's the same, but it's from a different place, so, you know, it could be slightly different. And and there's been no transfer whatsoever. Okay. Just looking at my timer, and we'll go for another 30 seconds. I haven't cracked it so far. I'm going to try holding it into the one place for sort of 15 seconds. I do have a larger heat press, which I could also try, but it's always tempting to use this little Cricut mini press because it's just so cute. It's so easy to set up. You don't sort of have to have a big space available. Okay, so no cracks in the coaster. Ah, yes, there is a crack in the coaster. I have cracked this one now too. Dear, oh dear. Okay, we'll just wait until this cools down a bit. So either the pressure or the heat is cracking the coaster. So it could be the process of heating and cooling, or it could be the pressure. Let's have a look. I can definitely feel it's very difficult to get off now. There's no actual transfer, but it's definitely some of that adhesive must be working. So I'll give it another little session. It would have been lovely if this had worked, but you see, you don't know these things until you try. And yeah, if I have to sacrifice a couple of coasters along the way, then I'm prepared to do that. All right, so we'll just see if that sort of has a cumulative effect and has helped with that transfer. That one is just so pretty, but that is still so hot. Like, not untouchable hot, but definitely hot. And interestingly, that crack looks like it's now come through to the other side as well. Okay, let's have a little look. So that hasn't transferred. Close. I guess I'll just have another 30 seconds or so. Let's see if we can get all of that adhesive activated and transferred. I'm really not expecting a good result from this now, especially because I've got that crack in it, and I wonder if I'm going to have a dramatic sort of an explosion, like pottery in a kiln or something. I shouldn't really be laughing thinking about an explosion. Oh, that's terrible. All right. Whenever you're doing something that's, you know, with materials that's not designed to do it for, of course you do have to be really careful, because this could heat and cool and then crack. And okay, well, a couple of pieces stayed on, but most of it came off. So I'm going to just pop that one to the side for a little bit, and I'm going to go over this one again now, just as per the instructions. And I think from memory that the second time you do it like this without that sheet, it actually sort of cures it into the surface. Well, with fabric it does, but as I said, this is pushing it way beyond what it's designed for. It's such a shame about the crack, because that is so pretty. I'll have to think of things I can do with cracked coasters. I have to start a whole trend, the cracked coaster trend. And we'll do the same with this one. So around about 30 seconds at the medium heat without the transfer film, the protecting film. And that'll hopefully pick up any little pieces that weren't fully adhered. Yes, if just one had cracked, you know, that's an accident, but two cracking, that's a trend. Okay, so I'll turn my little heat press off. It's very friendly, isn't it? And yeah, so apart from that crack, that is so pretty. All right, I'm going to just let those cool down for a few minutes so I can handle them. keeping in mind they may crack when I handle them. So enjoy them now for what they are. I'll come back in a minute when we can handle them safely. While we're waiting for those to cool down, I thought the next part of my experiment will be using UV DTF decals. Now I have done this before, but I haven't had a great lot of success with them adhering correctly. So this time is different because I have sealed them using the Artko matte sealer, which is designed for these particularly. So I'm going to just move these here, and I'll practice on this one, and let's just have a look and see what we've got that could be pretty. Okay, so a lot of these are smaller. Oh, I love that one. Rescue all the dogs. Because I've designed them for key rings and earrings, etc. Teeny tiny. Now I could always do roses, you know, in different parts, or the teacups. They look pretty, so I might pop that one to the side. This one is one that I got from Timo, so I'm going to pop that to the side. We'll use that one. This one is in the wrong container because that is a heat transfer, and I can tell by the adhesive on the back. So I'll put that back. Okay. Got not the right colouring for that, but I can't wait to use them. Now that cactus, this came as part of a test sheet you can order, but that flower's cut off. But I'll set it to the side because I can always trim that. Oh, this is so frustrating because I just look at all of this and I think, I want to make this, I want to make that, I want to do all of it. Okay. Again, these are all a smaller size. Yeah, I think I've probably had, oh, these are more from the DTF Print Hub that are the examples, so maybe that butterfly would be a good one. In fact, yes, I think we'll just use that butterfly for our trial, and then I'll just trim out the butterfly. Yeah, so this is the sample one. I'll just go around here. So this one is a DTF sticker. I think they called that a DTF sticker as well. But that's just standard direct to film, and that's relying on an adhesive that is covered up by this tape. These, sorry, are reliant on an adhesive that's covered up by this tape. These are reliant on an adhesive that is on the back that needs heat activating. Okay. So we'll try. This is always a bit tricky. Okay, I'm peeling off the bottom layer. Okay, so this is the back of the decal, and then I'm going to just sort of hover over it, hoping that I've done the right placement, and then I'm going to press that down. trying to make sure it's really firmly down, and so that's what it looks like at the moment. Gorgeous bright colours. Okay, and now I'm going to just, this is the top layer of plastic. I'm going to just peel this back. Whoops. Now that little antenna moved ever so slightly, but let me check. No, it's perfect. So there we go. So when I've done this before, I haven't felt like I had a good adhesion at all. That was onto either Nicole Sealer Wax coated items or uncoated items. So I'm really happy with that. These are still hot. That's terrible. Still heating away. Okay, I'm really happy with that one. So for this one, I might grab one of these dragonflies. Although now I'm looking at these, I don't think these are UV DTF because I can see a white outline. That's not going to work. Okay, so we're not going to be using that one. Oh dear. Okay, so we will go to some of our UV DTF decors. Oh my god, those are cute. Now we've got, we could do a teacup in the middle, and then we could do some smaller flower decals around the edge. So we'll try that, and let's have a look. I think that one actually does match those. Yeah, so we'll give that a try. I'll just snip these away. I know I'm going to want an odd number. I think I know. I think I know I want an odd number, but I could be wrong. Okay, so we want the teacup, and that will go in the centre, and then we want our little other flowers. So I can see here I've got a reverse image of those two and a reverse image of those two. So let's see what 4 look like. So we can go that way and that way, and we can go this way and this way. So we could have like 4. I don't love it, but I think for the purposes of testing this out, who cares? I'll be happy. All right, so let's take off the sheet off the back, the clear protectant sheet, and this is a really sticky adhesive now. So we're going to try and put that in the middle, give it a good press down, and then try and, so that one did not adhere. That's interesting. And I am starting to scratch the coaster as well. So that did not adhere at all. same company, their design, my design. Just going to use the handles of the scissors to put it on. I'm pretty comfortable saying that I gave all of these the same coating. No, zero adhesion, nothing. Interesting. What's going on? No, that just will not adhere. Just out of interest's sake, this is the unsealed side. Nothing at all. I'm going to just randomly choose one other coaster. So I know that by now the adhesive on the back will be weaker than what it was at the beginning. But just in case there's something odd about that other one. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I can feel the adhesive. Well, I can feel where it used to be. So just to double check, I'm going to try this one. So I'm peeling off the back. And I wonder if I should... No, I was going to be cheeky and use it to cover up the crack. Okay. So. No, nothing. Absolutely nothing. So I'll try it on... Oh, this is a magnet I'm throwing away. I'll pop it on there. Very interesting. Nothing. So now you know what I have to do. I have to try on this again with a fresh one because I don't know what's happening. Okay, so this is resin, not an eco casting powder, and yep, that's sticking down. It's coming up a little bit, which hasn't been my normal experience with it. See if I can encourage those to stick down. Well, isn't that interesting? So this UV DTF decor is really beautifully stuck down, and these ones would not at all. Okay, well, interesting experiment. Okay, the next thing I thought I would try would be these PET washi tape. And I'm always a little bit hesitant to use washi tape because it has that, it gives you that glossy sort of appearance, but I'll give it a go. I'm pretty sure this is just a cheap one I got from Temu. And I know that it's one that you need to trim because it's not pre-cut. So I'll just go around quickly as closely as I can. And see how that goes. But of course you've got all of the areas on the inside where there's no design. Okay. Alright, hopefully I can get those edges up. Oh gosh, I was prepared for a fight, but a fight was not needed. Okay, wow, that looks really pretty. I can definitely see the edges of the decals though, but I don't know if that's going to be the case if I seal it with resin. So what I might do is just see if I can get another couple of little pieces, maybe that one, or yeah, it's not the easiest one to work with, is it? It's got these strange sort of geometric shapes. Yeah, I think I'll try and grab that little piece back here. I like that piece there, but I don't want that funny. Oh, well, I suppose I can have a funny triangle if I want, can't I? It's just a chest. It's just a chest. So come here, you funny little triangle. It's not that I have anything against triangles or other geometric shapes. I just prefer my floral embellishments to be au naturel. That was the worst French accent ever. Okay, let's peel this one back. If we can. Know whether to try and use my nails or not. I'm terrible with my fingernails. I use them as tools all the time, and they usually look like I have to. Okay, there we go. Alright, so let's pop that there. Add a little bit of interest, and might just grab that little one there. Oh, that was easy. Pop that one there. And then I had my eye on that one. Trying not to have any or too many straight lines, because I know that our human eye is drawn towards those as sort of anomalies when you're looking at something more natural. I'll try and get this one close. Yep. And it's right on the edge there, so I will go in and trim that off. Now, what's that? Oh, that's a bit of the backing. Just grab my craft blade and hopefully just be able to pinch that off like so. Okay, so that is our fourth experiment. So I'll move these back down a bit so you can see them. And then the last three, I was going to just try and use some stickers and see how they go. So I'll just go and get them. I'll be right back. Well, that was sort of a dangerous trip into my craft storage area, because then I started seeing things and thinking, oh, I wonder if that would work, or this, or that, or the other. So I was wondering, what about rub-ons? So I've got some really pretty floral ones. Don't think they're the right colouring. I've got these feathers and flowers, or I've got the lavender ones. So I might try these ones. They're very pretty. So these are rub-ons from Stamperia, and they get put on by peeling the sheet off, which I'll show you in a moment, and then you use your fingers or some sort of object and it actually transfers the image over. I've never used these on an eco casting powder, so I really don't know how they're going to go. So this is the sheet, so I'll just grab my scissors and I'm going to cut out that beautiful rose there, or I'll cut out that one. I just love them both. Oh yeah, I'll cut this one out. Could try the wording as well. I don't normally use any sort of words or text on the pieces I make, but it could be pretty. We don't know. Okay. So the idea is that we take off the back paper like that, and then we have got our beautiful rub-on transfer, And I'm just going to use my fingers to start off with, just the pad of my finger, and see if I can make that work. If not, I can switch to something a little, you know, more forceful maybe. But we'll just see how this goes. And I'll just try and pick up an edge without scratching the surface. And that has not transferred at all. Interesting. So I'm going to grab a large paddle pop stick or icy pole stick and go over it a little bit more firmly and see if that increased pressure does anything to help the transfer release from that film. Well, okay, we had a partial transfer, so we'll keep going because I know from that it is possible. Whoops, I think I just gouged the coaster. I feel sometimes that I'm so rough. I feel like I'm a bull in a china shop. You heard of that saying? Bull in a china shop. Okay, so what's going on? So we're missing. I think I can actually see the bits that are missing. So they just look a bit darker, whereas that portion that's been transferred looks a bit sort of washed out. But I don't know how to affect the rest of it to get that washed out look. No, so I'd say that is a complete fail. That's a shame, isn't it? So for whatever reason, those parts of the transfer would not go through. Okay, so there's no point trying the text part of it. What a shame. But it does mean I can now try one that I sort of had this mad idea. Maybe we can transfer paper. So I've got this watercolour style 12 sheets that I purchased from Temu, and I'm just going to have a quick look through. And oh, I love that one. I'll put that one to the side. And oh, that's a bit gorgeous, isn't it? Yeah, that would go well. I like how that's got a focal point. They do, but they're off to the side, which is a shame. And oh, that one's lovely. I do love it. Okay, I think one of those two will be perfect. So I'll pack those up and put them back in, and then I will go in and trim this up. Okay, so I'm going to use my Fiskars circle colour, and I'm just going to move those onto there and bring this over here. And I think I'll try to get that flower. I'm not sure how that'll go. We'll see. Worst case scenario, I can use what I cut for some little earrings or keychains or something. So just got a tiny little bit there that I need to trim off. Let's have a look. And of course it's too big. Oh, that is totally me being impatient. Alright, so I need to adjust the size down of this. So you spin that wheel around there. And we will go in and make it a bit smaller. And I'm going to try and get that like that. Let me have a look around here. Give it a go. Oops. This one. Oh, I don't think that sounds right. I don't think I did that properly. Let's have a look. Oh no, that's okay. Perfect. All right. So many funny little bits and pieces on here now. Okay, I'm just going to use my DuraClear Ultra Matte Varnish, and I'm just going to go over the top of that because it's just a little experiment. So what does that matter? So I'm going to apply some to the back. I'll just use my fingers with this. It's very benign, I believe. And I'm going to make sure I really go over the edges there. Smooth it all out, put the excess on there, and we will just pick this up and place it down. I can see that my circle did not stay a complete circle, but I'm not going to worry about that at all. What does it matter really? I'm going to get a piece of paper towel so I can press it down. Okay, that looks good. And then I'm just going to give the top of it a little coat as well. And I'm just going to use my finger again for this part because it doesn't really matter. And just make sure I really go over those edges, the edge of the paper where it meets the AR400, the Eco Casting Powder. And I'm just going to sort of smush it around. I'm not trying to go over the edge or anything, but I'm just going to keep going around the top like that. And then I'm just sort of noticing I've got a bit of excess left. So I'll clean that up there. And then I can bring that over here and just do a final sort of a rub over and make sure I've got all that edge firmly secured. So I've never done this before. I don't know how it's going to work, and we can only try. So I'll set that one to the side, and that one can just start drying, and then hopefully we can get a good result for that. So going to be using these really pretty sort of cherry blossom patterns. Now these are stickers that I think again I just bought from Temu or AliExpress or somewhere, and from memory they are pre-cut. So we'll get a sheet out, and yes they are, I can see the cuts there. So I should be able to just, should being the operative word, pull them back and effectively just lay them down. Now that one went too close to the edge, and I will need to just nick that off with my trimmer. Okay, and then we can have a similar piece on the other side. So all I do with these is I sort of pull them back until they separate like that, and then just peel them off. So these do have the clear, I think it's like a PET as well, showing, but these ones are obviously pre-cut and so shaped. I'll just trim that little piece off. Okay, going well so far. I'll just pop a little bit in the middle if I can. There we go. Okay, I think this one can probably come in at the top like that, and then maybe we go that one there. I'm honestly not spending a lot of time thinking about the layout of these. As I said, it's just an experiment, and so I'll go that way. It doesn't really matter. Okay, the main thing is we can test the sealing and the final coating out. Okay, so that's those ones, and then the next ones I thought I would use are just some of these gold foil metallic looking ones, but I haven't had a proper check out of these yet, so they may not work, but we'll see. I'll just move those stickles to the side, and we'll move that to the side, and I'll try and place everything around so we can see them. Okay, and I think these are just exactly the same. They are ones that you press and peel off. The only difference is that they are metallic. So I'll try and get a couple of the larger ones sort of on the go around the edge, maybe. Chunky one. Okay. And just looking what designs we've got. That sort of heart-shaped one could be cute for the middle. Or close to the middle. Obviously it's just a very, very random sort of a design. Probably just need a couple of teeny tinies and then we're done. That one. They look a little bit too Christmassy, but I'll have to remember that they exist at Christmas time. I should really type myself up some sort of a document which is like, don't forget you've got this, that and the other. You know, for Halloween or special occasions, because it's easy to miss them, isn't it? Okay, gosh, they're highly reflective. That's very, very pretty. All right. For our final coaster, I'm going to use a decoupage technique. And I've got this really pretty paper napkin with a Paris and Roses theme. And so I'm going to just cut out one of the little squares so I can have a look at the pattern that I'd prefer to have on the coaster. I'm going to separate the front and back sheet of the napkin so I'm left with just one ply. And then I'm going to use my favourite decoupaging transfer medium or glue, which is the Stamperia Mix Media Glue, and it's just a really lovely product. So I'm going to put a fairly thin but consistent layer all over the coaster, and then I'm going to sit the paper napkin down on top, just in the position that I think will give the prettiest part of the pattern. Once I've done that, I'm going to really carefully smooth it down and make sure that there's no bubbles or wrinkles. And I'm also making sure in this instance that I'm adhering it right to the edge. Now I'm using a water brush here, and I'm just going around the edge, wetting the napkin. And when you do that, you find that it separates very easily. It's much better than cutting, in my opinion. And if I was doing a true sort of shabby chic decoupaging, I would have had that rough edge in a little bit further so you could actually see it. But I wanted to try having this pattern go all the way to the edge, so it's a little bit more crisp than a normal decoupage. So now I'm just popping another layer of that glue over the top, and then I'm going to set that aside to dry. And then once it's dry, I'm going to be able to come in with a little buffing tool and an emery board and just rub those edges off, and you end up with a really smooth, clean edge. Now, once I've done that, I will clean up all of that little debris in front of me, and then I'm going to give it another final layer of protecting, and this time it's the DuraClear. And I go ahead and do the same with all of the pieces that I've done today, just making sure that they have that varnish over the top of all of the different embellishments and decals and stickers and transfers that we've added to them. So they're nice and protected. And the last part of this is to finish them off with resin, and I'm using the River Art Resin Fast Cure, which is a 2-to-1 ratio epoxy resin. Now, it is a much thicker mixture than the normal deep pour resin, and I find that's a little bit easier to control when I'm top coating or doming. And I'm just going to mix that up with my Istoyo mixer, which you can see survived the making of the coasters. As always, after using a mixer, I'm just going in with a stick and stirring it myself to get everything away from the edges and to be absolutely certain that I can't see any unmixed resin in there. It usually looks like little strings of a slightly different colour, like little threads. So I'm pretty happy that there were none in this case. Now I'm going to be using Just Resin's Snow White. Now this is a beautiful shimmering glitter dust, and it's going to give us a lovely sparkle and shine all the way through, and it's not going to add any colour, but I'm hoping that it will take your eye away from the edges of any plastic or the PET tape that's on some of the decals. So that's going to hopefully give us a very pretty top coat for the coasters. Now I've whizzed you through this part because honestly I spent way too long setting this up. I put each of the coasters on top of a small paper cup, and then I tried to set them up so that none of them were touching, and then I went over and poured a little bit of resin out of a smaller cup to give me more control onto each one, and then I sort of gently but firmly pushed the resin right to the edge, and making sure that it didn't run over the edge. You don't want that to happen, because once resin has gone over the edge of something, it sort of keeps flowing. You need to have that surface tension just right. This did take me quite a long time to do. I know it's only 8 coasters, but it's just fiddly, and because I haven't got that great eyesight, I'm having to get up and check the edges and make sure that there's no resin shrinking away from the edge. And if I do see that, then I need to encourage the resin back to the edges and also fill in any gaps that are left in the middle. But I hope you'll agree that it was worth the time it took. I'm ridiculously excited to show you the finished coasters at the end of this video. I really am very proud of them. They each look so pretty, even the ones with the cracks in them. So, let me know in the comments too if you have a favourite technique or a favourite coaster. That would be nice to know. Thank you so much for watching. This was such a long video, and particularly when you pair it with part 1. So I appreciate you spending that time with me. It would really help me if you haven't subscribed yet to do so. It means you get to see when my videos first come out, and it really helps me get my videos out to more people. And if you could give me a like, and if you know anyone in the crafting community that you think would also enjoy the videos, feel free to share it with them too. So here's the lovely little collection of very eclectic coasters, and showing all the different methods of embellishing them. And I just think they look so pretty. And as I mentioned, I'd love to know if you had a favourite. Let me know in the comments. I'm also really interested to know if you've had successes where I had failures, or if there are any other techniques that you would be interested to see me trying, any other types of decals, transfers, rub-ons, all those sort of things. I always do enjoy a good experiment. Looking forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye for now.